I wake with a hollow stomach and a dry throat. The mandatory fast began at sundown, leaving me physically exhausted. But that physical hunger is nothing compared to the spiritual dread settling over my house this morning. This blueprint of the ancient temple shows the high priest's path. He moves from the crowded outer courts through the holy place, stopping at the Holy of Holies, where God's presence dwells. A single error here means instant death, leaving our nation unatoned. For the common Israelite, the rules today are absolute. All work is forbidden. All comfort is denied. The warning from God was explicit. Anyone who fails to afflict their soul today will be destroyed from among his people. There are no songs today, no feasting like Passover or tabernacles. This is a life or death trial. By sunset, every family in Israel will know whether their sins have been covered for another year, or if they have been held against them. Walking through Jerusalem toward the temple, the silence is unnatural. No merchants are shouting, no children playing. The entire city is holding its breath. The temple courts are packed, but the thousands of families standing shoulder to shoulder aren't celebrating. We wait in our family groups, caught in a paralyzing mix of dread and hope. Up near the massive altar, the high priest prepares. Stripped of his usual golden ornaments, today he is dressed entirely in plain, unadorned white linen. Stripped of his grandeur, he looks like what he is, a vulnerable, sinful man. Before he can secure atonement for the nation, he must first find a way to secure it for himself. 2 unblemished goats are brought forward. They are identical, but the casting of lots will decide their vastly different fates, one for the Lord and one for the wilderness. The first goat is slaughtered right there in the courtyard. I have to watch it happen, confronting the reality that this animal is bleeding out because of my lies, my greed, and my rebellion. The law of the covenant is unyielding. Sin requires death. There is no negotiating or bargaining. Blood is the mandatory currency required for payment. It is a horrific sight, but it is the only way to bridge the infinite, deadly chasm between a sinful people and a holy God. The high priest takes the blood and a censer filled with burning coals, walking toward the thick, heavy curtain separating the courtyard from God's presence. The incense smoke creates a physical shield, masking God's glory so the priest is not struck dead upon entry. He steps through the heavy fabric and disappears into the smoke. Across the massive courtyard, thousands of people fall into an agonizing, breathless silence. Standing outside, my chest tightens. I fear our sins were simply too great, that God has rejected the blood and the priest is lying dead on the floor of the Holy of Holies. Then he emerges from the veil, alive. A collective, exhausted sigh of relief ripples through the thousands of families in the courtyard. His survival is the ultimate proof. God has accepted the blood. The Holy of Holies has been appeased, and our nation will not be destroyed today. But the ritual isn't finished. The high priest turns to the second goat, the scapegoat, and presses both hands heavily onto its head. He speaks aloud, confessing the specific rebellions, injustices, and idolatries of Israel. He is physically transferring the immense guilt of our entire nation squarely onto the animal. A designated man takes the rope and leads the goat away from the altar, out of the camp, and deep into the desolate wilderness. Watching it disappear into the wasteland, the crushing weight I've carried for the past 10 days finally lifts. I can actually breathe again. The first goat's blood paid the penalty for our sin, but this scapegoat removes the guilt completely, carrying it to a place where it can never return to accuse us. The high priest raises his hands and pronounces the blessing of peace. Around me, people break down weeping, overwhelmed with gratitude that we have survived the day. But looking at this timeline, a heavy shadow remains. This relief, this intense, bloody atonement, it only lasts for a single year. Next year, we will have to do it all again. The blood of animals is inherently imperfect. It can temporarily cover our failures, but it leaves our nature unchanged. These rituals buy the nation another year of life. It is a vital, merciful system, but it is a system of borrowed time. It is a treatment, not a cure. Walking home through the cooling streets, my wife Sarah and I talk about the prophets, about the promises they made of a coming Messiah who will finally break this cycle. That is the ultimate hope of Israel, a perfect high priest who will offer a final sacrifice that removes sin entirely, rendering these temple rituals obsolete. I look out over Jerusalem as the city goes to sleep. The fast is broken. The day is over. I don't know if I'll live to see that perfect Redeemer, but for tonight, I will trust in the temporary mercy God provided today